Hello. Hi, Selena, Anne, and Edith. We're hoping for a few more, but we thought we'd you might get a bit bored waiting, so thought we'd start for you. So I am recording as well. So welcome. And if we haven't met before, I'm Mandy, team leader for these amazing multicultural mixes who you will see during the evening. Just a couple of things before we start. We have, at the moment, if anyone's interested in joining our team, we have a half-price business kit, which is $62.50 for a thermoserver, a bag for your Thermomix, and a few other bits and pieces. It's valued at a lot more than that, so it's a really good way to come on board. And our current gift with purchase is the Indian cookbook and hold on, because someone else coming. The Indian cookbook. What else, girls? I've forgotten what the other thing is. Sure, there was something else.
The black thermoserver.
The black thermoserver, the oval thermoserver. Thank you very much, ladies. So, that's if you know anyone who's interested in a Thermomix at the moment, that is what is on offer. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are doing lunchbox ideas. And we are going to head straight away to Irene, our bread queen. Well, one of our bread queens. We have two bread queens. We have Boone and Irene, but Irene is going to show you a couple of things that you can do with some bread dough. And she's made a special bread dough.
Well, I don't know about it being special. I've got lots of parsley in the garden, so I thought I'd be a bit more creative today. And so I added some into my dough. Why not? Add a bit of flavour. So we've done lots of videos of how to do your dough, obviously how to get your dough ready in your Thermomix. I've basically bypassed that step today just to get everything moving pretty quickly. I'm just going to divide my dough into two. So we're going to make a couple of things. We're going to make some pizza pockets. I'm going to show you how to do some scrolls as well. Just things that would be really easy for, I guess, a lunchbox. So bear with you. I'm going to change cameras so we can start shaping some of these. Okay. So I generally like, this dough's only proved once, so I generally like to, I guess, make the shapes of what I'm going to do, give them a chance to prove a second time. You end up with a much softer bread dough in the long term.
Can you explain what you're doing there, Irene?
Oh, I'm just knocking some of the air out and just keeping it in a ball shape. So it literally, you know, it's how I would shape a bread roll. But I'm just, there's a fair bit of air in and I guess gas in that. And it's going to be easier for me to just knock a little bit of that out as I shape them. So with the pizza pockets, I want to get back into those circles. Like I said, I would let that rise a second time, knock the air out a second time, let them rise a third time before I start to shape. So our bread mat. So our bread mat's available on the Mix Shop. It's also a host reward. So if you're haven't had your cooking experience, if you've just bought, or you want to have another cooking experience, we love coming back to see our customers and share some new techniques with you. So pizza pockets are pretty easy. The main rule for a pizza pocket or a calzone, anything that's got ingredients inside, is to make sure those ingredients are cooked. So what do I mean by that? I've made some mushrooms. I've sauteed some mushrooms and onion. If I was to put those mushrooms and onions directly into my pizza pocket, they'll obviously be raw. They're not going to cook inside. So I need to make sure I've got cooked ingredients going inside. You can certainly do things like salami. You can do any sort of cheese because it's going to melt inside. But anything that needs cooking, like onions, I'm not a big fan of raw onion. Garlic, it's good to saute them, and you can certainly do that using the high heat function in your Thermomix. One thing I forgot to bring out, I've got some little sugar plum tomatoes. Capsicums are pretty expensive. So when you look up the pizza pocket recipe, it talks about making a tomato salsa and then using ham or I think, salami inside as you're filling, along with some cheese. Don't slice. I'm not going to slice on my mat. Don't do this. I'm not, do as I say, not as I do. Don't slice on your mat. You can't use it once that happens. So that's pretty much, I guess, a nice vegetarian version for me. The other things you could put in here, I've got a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And if you like, you could also put in, you know, some feta. So really use what you've got. I was going to do capsicum, but they're like $15 a kilo, too expensive. So that's what I want in mine. Pull along and come back up and pretty much close it. And we have our pizza pocket. Really simple and easy. I'm going to do some more later, so I'm just going to pop these aside. Pop this one on my tray. With my other half, again, just going to spray my mat. It's going to make it easy for me to do this.
So Irene, why are you spraying rather than putting flour on there? So
the more flour you add back into your dough, the tougher the mixture. So I want to retain a really nice moist bread dough. The spray is going to help it so it doesn't stick. Flour, you could lightly flour, but the more flour you add, the more you dry out your dough, the tougher your bread, or in this case, scrolls. So
sorry, one more question, Irene. What bread recipe, what dough recipe did you use?
I used the pizza dough recipe for this one.
Thank you.
So easy. I've made so many of these, so easy to remember. 300 water, 500 flour, pinch of sugar, pinch of salt, and tablespoon of yeast, and a tablespoon of, teaspoon of yeast and a tablespoon of oil. Whack it all in 3 minutes. Kneading function, job done. Okay, so, oh, sorry guys, my camera's out of whack.
Yeah, it is a bit out of focus.
Sorry guys. See my lovely hair on my hands? No, I'm trying to get it to work. That's it. I get it back.
Yeah, that's better. Yep.
Okay. Sorry, let me know if it goes out of whack. I'm going to save a little bit of this for my, some more pizza pockets. By all means, use your hands. I love mushrooms. Mum loves mushrooms. Again, I'm just using ingredients. So I've sauteed these. It's literally onions, some mushrooms, maybe a little bit more. Onions, mushrooms. And I've used thyme. I love thyme. Thyme and mushroom is such a beautiful combination. So through. I've just got some Parmesan. Again, it was whatever I had in the fridge. I'm going to crumble some feta. Again, Greek household, we always have feta. So again, use what you've got. You could use olives. Really lovely. I've got some strawberries. Strawberries were pretty cheap. They're about $2.50 a punnet compared to, I don't know, $8, $9 a few weeks ago. So you could do strawberries and Nutella, like if you wanted to make some sweet ones. That works really, really well. Okay, and
they're really a good way to use up whatever you've got in your fridge, aren't they?
Absolutely. So I'm just putting some fresh thyme. Again, really lovely. It's the normal thyme, not the lemon thyme. I do love the flavour. And because I like the burst of the tomatoes. Yes, use a chopping board.
So anyone on the class, does anyone make their own scrolls? And if you're not making them, If you are making them, what do you put in them? We'd love to know what fillings you use. Just pop it in the chat. If you aren't making them, you can still tell us what fillings you put in them.
So if anyone buying those very expensive, what are they? Vegemite scrolls. Really, really easy. So just going to roll up, and I'm doing this quite, I guess, tight. And you can use that to stretch, to kind of tuck everything inside. And get the length, anything that works for you. Now you can use floss, as in dental floss. I'm just using a pastry cutter. This isn't going to damage my mat. Again, this is only half the dough, so you can see how many you'll be able to make from a full batch. Now I'm going to put these relatively close together. They need to prove, so I'm going to pop them back into my oven to prove. I've got a proving function on my oven. I will put this back into view so you can see what's happening through here. I'm going to do some more pizza pockets with these. And literally, I'm just going to put some more Parmesan cheese on top. And bake these. So I'm just going to let them prove probably another 20 minutes, and then I'll pop them into bake. Again, they'll probably take about 20 minutes to bake. I'm just going to do some more of these off camera so we can move on, and I'll come back and show you the finished product.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Irene. Thank you, Boone, being on top of everything. All right, so what I'd love to know, what temperature would you prove in the oven is the question, Irene?
Proving on the average 37 degrees or 40 degrees is fine.
About 40. If your oven isn't capable of doing that, you can use, you can boil some water in the varoma, and it can actually steam in the varoma. So use not boiling temperature, but hot enough so that you're actually able to do that. You've got lots of options in the thermoserver. The oven, if you've got I've got a dough proving function, so that works for me in the oven. But if you've got a low temperature of 40, that would be fantastic. If you don't really know if it's 40 or it's 60, like some ovens run 20, 30 degrees differently to what's in the to what's on your oven, then use a place that can keep it warm, close to a heater. Inside the microwave with a bit of hot water works really, really well as well. So, yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Irene. Okay, so now I'd love you all to pop in the chat. Have you made mayonnaise? And if so, do you know which recipe you've used? Anyone awake out there? You have. Thanks, Helen. No, all right. Okay, so I'm going to make the cooked mayonnaise tonight because it's really easy. You know, chicken sandwiches, I'm going to use mine in chicken wraps, curry chicken wraps. It's so easy. So I think, well, we probably all say, all of us consultants would say, there are some things that we do make and some things that we buy. And before the cooked mayo recipe came out, I bought my mayonnaise. I really was not that wrapped with the previous one, but this mayo is fantastic. And since this recipe arrived, I have not bought mayonnaise. So I've got other things I need to practice, but this one is fantastic. So I'm going to go into my week where I put it. It's been a busy day today. I've got everything that we're cooking, and I've been doing some other cooking too. The cooked mayonnaise. All right. So start cooking. Now, what it asks you to do is actually put a jug on top of the mixing bowl lid and weigh in 300 grams of grapeseed oil. Now, what I do is I weigh it into the jar I'm going to store the mayo in. Okay, it's less washing up and it's just ready to go. So I have weighed that already. The reason they suggest grapeseed oil is because it is not, it's not a strong oil. So if you use olive oil, it can affect the taste of your mayo. Well, I'll keep going because there's a few bits to this. So I'm going to put that aside and I'll talk to you a little bit more about it in a mo. So then I'm putting 1 teaspoon of sea salt in here. And 30 grams of white vinegar. And that is what we're going to cook. Putting the lid on, 3 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 1. All right, so whilst that's cooking, just wanted to mention, when you're making your mayo, this is the basic mayo, but you can adapt it, you can add all sorts of flavouring. So if you want to, you can mix it first, and then you can add your flavourings in. So you can use, I'm not going to put the curry powder in here because I'm going to use some of it for my curry chicken. But you could, if you've got harissa in the fridge, if you've got, you know, if you want to, you can chop up a bit of garlic and pop that in there too, so it becomes more like an aioli. As I said, curry powder. You know, there's so many different options. It's whatever you want to do to change up that mayonnaise. You can put a bit of paprika in there. You know, as I said, anything, herb mayonnaise, whatever sort of things you like. So anything that you would put into your mayo, let me know. I've got 2 minutes to go whilst this is going on. So and as well as the mayonnaise, so what we're going to do is we're going to emulsify. And that's what you have to do with the mayo. And emulsification can be used in other recipes. So does anyone have a smoothie? Anyone enjoy a smoothie? No? I'm going to tell you just in case, all right? So yeah, thank you, Alice. So if you have a smoothie, after a while, the smoothie separates. So if you actually emulsify your smoothie, it won't separate. So it can sit in the fridge. You can have some today, some tomorrow, and it won't separate. An emulsification is when you slowly drizzle in with the mayo. We're going to slowly drizzle the oil in. But with your smoothie, you put most of your ingredients into the bowl and a little bit of the liquid, so it's not fully dry. But then you drizzle the rest of the liquid in through the top of the lid. So you pour it onto the lid, and we've got those little holes between the lid and the measuring cup, and the liquid drizzles down slowly, and that's what causes the emulsification. All right, 45 seconds to go. And the good thing about this mayo too is because it's cooked, the egg goes in a little bit later, otherwise you'd have scrambled egg, okay? But there is an egg going in here, but it is a cooked mayo, so it's quite safe for anybody who is pregnant or anything, yeah, or, you know, any sort of things like that. So it's quite safe. All right, 20 seconds. Any questions so far? Anybody? No. Okay, so we're nearly there, and just with your, I don't know if you've noticed, if you've got a TA6, you've got the preview mode, so you can click on that, and it's telling me to crack 2 eggs into a small bowl, which I've done. And now it's saying 30 seconds, speed 3, but there's going to be something that I've got to do whilst this is happening. So let's have a look at this. Okay, so I'm going to take the lid off, and I'm going to pop my eggs through the lid. Okay, so I've just dropped those 2 in there. And this is a really good example of, you've got to really read the recipe. So that is doing that. And now it's when it gets to the end of it, it's actually going to go back and show you the previous Oh, no, it's not. Sometimes it does show you the previous screen. That is the previous screen, but we finished that step and it says, please click next. So don't get confused when you come to those. So now I'm going to pop the measuring cup back in and I'm going to do the emulsification. All right, so, whoops. So I've got that on my lid. And what I'm going to do is literally slowly pour this onto the lid. Going to speed 6. All right, so again, click next. And there you go. And it's really delicious. How long does it last in the fridge? I'll tell you what, we'll look at the tips and see what it says, but I have it in there for a few weeks. Probably not meant to last that long. But to get the tips and tricks, we click on the 3 magic dots, if you like, to the side of the next. Recipe detail. Scroll down here. So it's for up to 2 weeks. So I definitely use that. It's got some variations in here. It's got a mustard mayo, it's got a garlic mayo, but you basically do whatever you want. Now, next thing is putting it into the jar. If you have one of the beautiful, what do you call those? Funnels, jam funnels from the mix shop, you can absolutely use that. But I'll show you what I tend to do. Works quite well with this jar. Let's get this off here. All right, and then I'm taking the lid out, the MC out, and I'm going to pop this over my top of my jar, and I'm going to pour this in. Remembering when you're scraping out your bowl, you always push to the bottom and go in a clockwise direction so that you're hitting the rounded side of the blades, not the sharp side of the blades. Now, I'm not worrying too much about cleaning it out because I'm going to next make the filling for my wraps. I think I'm next on that. Oh no, I think we might go to Pearl, but I am not going to wash this because
So, ma'am, why do you prefer this mayo recipe over the other one?
I just think it tastes nicer.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you not think so?
I've not made it. I'm going to give it a go. I've made the normal one. I've been perfectly happy with the normal one, but I will give this one a go, see how different it tastes.
Yeah, excellent. All right. No, I just really like it. Anyway, let's just go to Pearl, and Pearl's going to show us some bliss balls. Oh, thanks, Boone.
Just give me 1 second. Today, all my gadgets are failing. I don't know what's happening. My Thermomix just went off because it did not have any action for some time. Today, I'm making carrot cake bliss balls. You can make different types of bliss balls. You can, I have made beetroot bliss balls. So it's nice and red, raw beetroot. Then I'm making carrot also is raw. So this way the kids can eat some veggies. I made lemon bliss balls as well. For Christmas, I gave everyone a pack of different types of bliss balls. Okay, mine is a very simple recipe. Carrot cake bliss balls, start cooking. 70 grams of pecans. So I'm not using pecan, I'm using walnuts. And 60 grams. So I've pre-weighed mine. In these walnuts, I have put fresh ginger because I like the taste of ginger. 50 grams of desiccated coconut. So got here, 53 grams. 75 grams of pitted dates. Next, some carrots cut into pieces. And I have put some cinnamon on that and ground nutmeg. Next. Insert measuring cup. For 10 seconds on speed 7. So that easy it is. This is the consistency that I've got. So it says put it for another 3 seconds, but I'm fine with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the bliss balls, and I'll show you once they are ready.
And what are you using? Are you rolling them in your hand or using a little?
No, I'm going to roll them in my hand. I'll coat them with desiccated coconut.
Perfect.
And once I've done that,
yeah, and
sorry?
did you make your desiccated coconut in your thermi?
No, I bought the desiccated coconut.
Okay, so it is another thing you can make in your thermix. You can, if you've got whatever sort of coconut, and just be mindful when you are buying, if you're buying desiccated coconut, if you're like me, I like to read the back of the packet and see what's in it. So a lot of desiccated coconuts actually got sugar in it as well. So just have a look at that. I mean, it's fine if you want that, but if you don't, just check it out. Anyway, I'll show you a few more bliss ball recipes shortly, but we're going to Wendy, and she's going to show us. Oh, thanks, Boo.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to make some rice crisp bars. So I actually did these yesterday and they didn't last till today. So the kids really enjoyed them. They're a little bit healthy, but also yummy as well. Now, first of all, I did actually make a nut paste, which was just a blend of macadamia oil. You can use grapeseed oil if you've already got that in the cupboard. Some raw almonds, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds, and some sesame seeds, and basically just whipped it up in the Thermomix. You can put a little bit of sugar in. I didn't this time, just to make it a little bit more healthier. So that's the nut paste we're going to use today. You can also use it as a replacement for butter, and also for sweet and savory as well. Okay, so rice crisp bars, there's not a lot of ingredients. And it's basically everything that you would already have in your pantry. So it's going to want me to weigh out some puffed brown rice. I actually didn't have any, I only had some white in, so I'm using that. Some flaked almonds, 30 grams of shelled unsalted pistachio nuts, and a teaspoon of white chia seeds. So we're setting the bowl aside. It's a really quick and easy recipe, this one as well. The kids can even whip this one up. So we're going to do 20 grams of honey. Just about 1 teaspoon. There we go. This is actually I bought from Phillip Island when I was there at a market a couple of weeks ago. Nice and local. 70 grams of the nut paste. And it did make quite a lot. I think it was about 700 grams. So I got 2 jars out of the nut paste ingredients. And then it just stays in the fridge for I think up to, or you can even freeze it for a couple of months. A little bit too much there. I wasn't watching what I was doing. Yeah, 80 grams will be fine. And 100 grams of dark chocolate melts. Today I've just got the little ones. I did use the round ones yesterday. We ran out of those, so we're just improvising again with what we have in the cupboard. And a teaspoon of coconut oil. So now it's just going to go onto a heat mode. We'll put the lid in and it's going to melt all those ingredients together for about 4 minutes at 90 degrees on speed 1.
Thanks, Wendy. We'll come back to me, Boone, please. So I've got a funny little story about nut butters. We have very good friends over the road who look after our dog when we go away. This was very early days when they were doing that. And what I did, we went away one Christmas and they had our dog for a little while, a few weeks. And I made this little hamper before we went away, and in it was peanut butter. This is before my good friend Kelly, all the team know Kelly, before I really knew her, and she didn't have a Thermomix. And I made all these things in my Thermomix, and one of them was the peanut butter. And I went over there, I don't know, a couple of months later, and their son at the time, he was probably, it's a few years ago now, he came racing out, and the dog's called Marley. Marley's mum, where'd you get your peanut butter? And so I said I'd made it in the Thermomix, and they ended up getting one, and he ends up making the peanut butter. So it's pretty cool. All right, so I'm just going to show you a few things on Cookie-Doo. I just pulled together a few recipes today. That is the Rice Crisp bars that Wendy's making. But what I did was, in my created collections here, I found a whole lot of bliss ball recipes. They're either called bliss balls or protein balls. These, I saw someone else had made them. They're really delicious, peanut butter natural energy balls. They have oats in them. And I know Wendy's, I'm sure she doesn't mind me saying, celiac. And so she couldn't eat those, even though they're wheat-free oats, because I avoid gluten, but I do eat the wheat-free oats. Raw chocolate brownies, they're a hit with my daughter. Date and pecan protein balls, chocolate peanut butter protein balls, macadamia protein balls, strawberry amaze balls, nutty matcha. Those are the ones that Pearl was talking about, the beetroot ones before. Vanilla ones, orange, hazelnut and coconut, apricot and carrot, buckwheat and date, peanut butter brownie bliss balls, lemon coconut. I think Pearl was talking about those before too, the carrot cake and hazelnut crunch bliss balls. So there's a whole heap of options there, and they're just really nice little things to pop into a lunchbox. So this isn't just for your kids, this is for, you know, for you going to work or whatever. The other recipe collection I also created here, well, I did two actually. I did lunchbox. So here are a few other ideas for you in here. I thought that was quite a clever idea. Sometimes in your lunchbox, it's nice to have something you can just pick up and munch. The hash brown cups. I've made that quiche before. That's delicious, and you can do it. There are some, if you're gluten-free, there are gluten-free options for pastry in Cookie-Doo. There's actually a really nice what's the tart called? It's feta and something. It's not this one, a different tart, pumpkin and feta tart, and that has a vegetable pastry, which is really good. Again, I've tried those. I wasn't crazy about those, but there's something a little bit different. We've got some muffins, sausage rolls, obviously. Make a frittata, chop that up. These are some mixed veggies things, little hamburger rolls. These are a little bit gourmet for your kids, I guess, but they're so delicious. These are what I'm going to make shortly. Some more sausage rolls. Prosciutto and sun-dried tomato muffins. If you haven't made these are fantastic, and I'm pretty sure I've got a video up on my YouTube channel doing these. It says in the recipe you need to, it ends up like 2 packs of prosciutto. You don't need that, just buy 1 pack. But they are really good. And then, of course, salads are great in a lunchbox. Broccoli and bacon tarts. Summer rolls, the Kumara sausage rolls, they're fantastic too. Keto cheddar biscuits. Anyway, so there's heaps and heaps of options there for the zucchini slice. That's a regular in our house. The pesto nuggets are really good too. So there's heaps of options up there. And if you actually just type lunchbox into Cookie Do, it will come up with options for you. And then there's just a few ideas of some of the sweet things. So blueberry crumble bars. There's some fruit, well, sweet scrolls, so like Irene's done, but with custard and sultana and apples. These are pretty cute. Cake in a jar, you probably want to, you know, refrigerate a little bit, have something in there to keep things cold. Fudge brownies. There's a lot of breakfast bars, sesame bars, quinoa bars, chocolate energy bars, pumpkin muesli bars, a whole lot of things. Different types of bars that you can make. So just with that in mind, I'm just going to show you quickly. It's changed slightly, but that you can get something like this in the mix shop. The model that they have now, they're a bit wider than this, so they're probably the width, that sort of width, but they're a really cool thing to have. Silicone is so easy to pop things out of. They're a really cool thing if you want to make some bars to go to your lunch boxes. Now, Wendy, are you ready for us? Yep, cool.
Okay, so the chocolate's nicely melted. I'll just show you. So it's a nice consistency. The one I did yesterday was a little bit more gluggy, so I've just cooked this for an extra 15 seconds today, just to give it a little bit more of a smoother consistency. So now it will want the reserve nut mixture, which we did earlier. And I'm just going to carefully put that around the side so it doesn't go on the middle of the blades. Just helps it rotate a little bit easier. So these are really good in the mold that Mandy showed you. Today I'm just going to use a baking tray, but I actually have treated myself and ordered some from the mix shop while they had their little sale on. So 30 seconds, it's just going to turn to speed 1, and it's just going to combine all that mixture together. So the really good thing with the nuts in here is it's really high with vitamin E, has all your essential fatty acids, calcium, and obviously high protein. So the kids and adults are getting quite a good nutritious bar without all the nasty extra sugar and the E numbers and all those nasty things that the something like the LCM bar would have from the shops.
I love your tray liner too, just quietly.
Oh, and there's the mixture. So it's going to ask me now to press this into the little tray that I've got, and it says work quickly. Either divide into an 8-hole silicone bar or into a baking tin. So I'm going to just quickly put it in here. So these tray liners, Mandy, were actually at Coles the other day, and I think I got 4 of them for $2.
Oh, wow.
So they're a silicone baking mat. Yeah, I hadn't seen them before. That's a pretty good buy. I thought of you when I bought them.
Oh, thank you.
So you just quickly pat it down. I'm just keeping the mixture a little bit close together because it's not going to fill all the tin. And then it'll set in the fridge for about an hour.
Can you hold it up so we can see a little bit better, please?
Yeah.
You done? Oh, yeah,
And
cool.
just squashing it down, making sort of some little log shapes. And then I'll let you see what it's like once I've done.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. It's back to me now, Boone. Thank you. All right. So I've still got a dirty bowl with mayo in it. And the next thing I'm going to make, oh, I didn't share. I'll find those recipes in a minute, is the curried chicken part of the wrap. So I'll just find that recipe on here. I have done part of it before, and I'll talk you through that bit. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is actually steam your chicken. So I did that earlier because I want it to be cool. Quickly going through your steaming basics. You need to have 500 mils of water or stock or whatever you're using in the bowl for every 30 minutes of steaming. It's always Varoma temperature, and it's usually speed 1. But the time that you cook something, if you go into your basic cookbook, if you've got TM6, it's at the back of your white book. There's a whole section on steaming, and it tells you what I've just told you. And it also tells you how for every extra 15 minutes, you need to add an extra 250 grams of water when you're steaming. Okay, so if you've got to steam something for an hour, you need a litre of water in there. But in the back of your book, it will always tell you that it's Varoma temperature, speed 1, but it will tell you according to what you're steaming, how many grams of what you're steaming, how long it needs to steam for. So that's in the back of your white basic cookbook if you're a TM6, is towards the front of your green basic cookbook if you have a TM5. And I don't think I know where it is, but I'm sure it's there in a TM31 basic cookbook as well. Okay, so I have done that. I did the steaming. I put the Varoma on top. When you're steaming, you need to make sure there's a few little holes there so that the steam can come through and cook everything. I put 500 grams of skinless thigh fillets cut into thirds up there. And I put the lid on and I cooked for 25 minutes. So then it says, remove and set aside to cool 15 minutes. Well, I did it much earlier in the day, but it says discard your steaming liquid. Do not discard your steaming liquid. So because it's been steaming the chicken, there will be chicken juices that have gone down into that water, and it is now, it's a light chicken stock. So what I've done with that is I have frozen that. So next time I want to make a soup or I need some chicken stock for something, I've got a liquid chicken stock. You can, of course, when you do need chicken stock, make your own chicken stock paste, which is fantastic, and use that. But I'm not throwing that away. It's much better to use what nutrition there is in there. Okay, next. So now I'm going to put my cooled, so there's my cooked chicken. That's going in. And before I do this, has anyone shredded chicken? Because this is a really cool trick. You might have stood there, you know, chicken, pork, doing this with 2 forks. Has anyone done it in the Thermomix? Anyone know what the settings are? Actually, it's a little bit different in this recipe, but I'll put this on. You have, great, Alice, thank you. All right, so put my lid on. And it's actually saying 10 seconds on speed 4. I normally do about 4 seconds on speed 4, but I'll do as I'm told in this. And I should have said that was reverse. Okay. I'll show you what's happened in there. There we go, shredded chicken. How easy is that? I think that's really clever. All right, transfer into a bowl and set aside. Second. Oh, that's all right. We'll put it back into. Oh no, I can't because that had raw chicken. There. Put into here. So it has got a bit of that mayo on, which is fine because it's going to end up mayonnaise anyway. Love it when you don't have to wash a bowl. All right. All right, so that's my shredded chicken. So as I said, you can do that with pork. You can do that. Obviously, chicken's easy. All right. Next, 8 sprigs of coriander. So I've got coriander in here, and I've got some spring onions. Now it says white bit only, but I'm not going to waste the green bit, so that's going in too. Might not chop quite as well, but that's okay. 50 grams of toasted pine nuts. If you don't have pine nuts, just use something else. 25 grams of raisins. Now the tips is if you are low carb or keto, don't use raisins. Apparently, they're not the right thing to use. I don't have any raisins, so I've got a few sultanas. Popping my lid on. 3 seconds, speed 5. Then 2 so that's my everything chopped up there. I might actually just, doesn't say scrape down the sides, but I'm going to get this off the lid. A few pine nuts lurking. I tell you what, it smells really good. Okay. There we go. 200 grams of my mayo. I reckon that will do. Let's see. 2 teaspoons of curry powder. So this is a curry powder that I made before. So I don't know, you may or may not know, I live very close to Chadstone. It's actually quicker. I'm literally probably 10, well, not even 10-minute walk to Chadstone Shopping Centre. It's quicker for me to make this than it is to go and buy it. So 2 teaspoons of curry powder. I love the fact that we have these options of all these amazing things that we can make. We know what we're putting into our bodies. 1/4 teaspoon of ground turmeric. Now, if you come across, if you use a lot of turmeric, you may have noticed that the lid, the inside of your lid will go a bit green around here. Anyone know how you get rid of the green? Pop it in the chat if you do. A bit of salt. And ground black pepper, which is missing. Really important too with, thank you, Irene. Sunlight, absolutely. So when you're using turmeric, to get the most out of it, to activate the curcumin, you actually need black pepper. So even if it's something that's sweet, like I do a mango smoothie, and that has the spiced mango smoothie, and that has turmeric in it, so I put black pepper in that. Might as well get the most out of it. All right, I'll put my chicken in. There we go. Lid on. 20 seconds, speed 1 on reverse, so we're not shredding the chicken anymore. So you could, add other things in there. Pizza pockets. Whatever. It's basically whatever filling you want to do. I'm going to put these together. I have made some wraps. So they are gluten-free wraps, and I will, when I do a follow-up email with you guys, I'll put the recipe in there. Because yeah, they're really good. They're actually, I'll show you one quickly before I plate it up. Got them, these have been frozen, but they are nice and flexible. Okay. So
you need my roti maker, Mandy, to make those.
Oh, could do, yes, but you're the expert. That's not me. All right, so we are going back. Wendy, are you ready for us, or would you like us to go back to, it sounds like Irene might be ready.
Back to Irene.
Back to Irene, cool, thank you.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get up and go to the oven. So they are ready, so I may as well pull them out. So they're all here. Piping hot. So my pizza pockets. Now these are more of a meal for two. They're so big. So you can probably reduce the size of these. The scrolls are really lovely. In here, I have a little bit of maple syrup. I actually like, it gives it a little bit of that sweetness, which I quite like. And it makes it look really nice as well. So I like to brush a little bit on top, as opposed to using egg. So I'm going to do that while they're still warm. And literally, I'm going to keep one, maybe in one of these, aside. And the rest, once they're cold, I'm going to pop them in the freezer. So you can literally just pull them down, pop them into the lunchbox. So pull them down the night before. They might not be completely defrosted by the morning, but they will be ready by lunchtime so that everyone who's having them, young and old, these are going into adult lunchboxes because we love mushrooms in our house. It'll be nice, nice and defrosted, ready for me to have for lunch.
They look amazing, Irene. I wish I ate normal bread. I'd come around and grab one.
Well, there's no reason you couldn't do it. I reckon worth giving a go with gluten-free as well.
Yeah.
There's
Cool.
lots of options. So really hot at the moment, but I'll cut one into one of these once it's cool enough.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I think we're off to Pearl. Are you ready with some bliss balls, Pearl? Hang on, you're muted. That's it.
No. Yeah. Okay. I'll just show you. This is what I have done. I can keep them in the fridge for about 1 to 2 days. They last in the fridge. Or you can freeze them. In my house, I don't have to freeze them. If I put them in the fridge, I don't think they'll even last for a day because they'll be finished before that. So, but you can make more. And because it's so easy to make and so quick, you can make heaps of it. I made bigger ones so that they can, and my husband loves sweets. So there is no need to eat chocolates. He can eat these because they are healthier than his chocolates or any other sweet. So this is what, yeah.
Sorry, I muted myself. Thank you very much. That's amazing. Wendy, are you ready for us?
They're still not set. Is there anything else left? Or is it
No, I'll show mine, but we're pretty much ready for you. So I'll just show mine quickly. So all I've done with this is I've got a little bit of rocket on top, actually grown from my daughter's garden, which is very exciting. And you can just roll them up. Now in the mix shop, we do now have wrap holders. So you can have a look for that, but that's it's just broken a little bit there, but that's a really delicious lunch. And before we go back to Wendy, I just thought I'd show you, I don't know if you guys have seen these, but in the mix shop, they're seriously heavy, you need muscles. We've got these beautiful cast iron pans or pots, and they're enameled inside, so there's none of that having to deal with, you know, things going rusty. And the really cool thing is they've got all these little dimples on the lid. And what that actually means is that if you're making a bread, because there's a couple of collections on Cookie Do if you haven't seen them, if you're making bread, it actually somehow it steams it and actually becomes more crusty because any condensation drops down off these dimples back onto the bread.
Andy, the dimples are more for the stews.
Oh, are they? Okay, good, thank you.
It's self-basting. So basically, you're right, condensation goes up, comes back down, but that's when there's a fair bit of liquid. Whereas the sealing of the lid is keeping that moisture inside with the bread, giving you that gorgeous crusty bread. So
yeah, cool, thank you. Yeah. So I have made a couple of things in here, and we'll ask Helen if she's made anything yet, because I know she's got one. So I made the sticky beef ribs or whatever they are. You'll see it in the collection, and they were amazing. And I made the coco vin blanc, but I made it actually sans vin, so it had no wine in it, but I used our chicken stock paste, and that was really delicious. So have a look for these on the mix shop. They are brilliant. All right, Wendy, we are coming back to you now.
And here I am. So they're not presented very nicely. I do apologize. They are a little bit soft still, but that gives you an idea of the portion size. You can even cut them in half again. So yeah, they're really high in fiber, low carbohydrates, and you can make them in any of the TM6, TM31, TM5 machines.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you, girls, all of you. I've just noticed Helen said she made the broccoli and ham pasta bake. So those of you on here, anything you've taken away from tonight that you're going to try? I'd love it if you all did something.
So I've cut open the pizza pocket. If you want to just have a quick zoom on it.
Sure. Let's come
Just
back to you.
for a second, yeah.
Ooh, look.
So the bread is lovely and cooked inside. So anything you've got, guys, whatever you've got in your fridge, use it. It's really quick, really easy, and really cheap to make. So give it a go.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. Pizza pockets, okay. Oh, lovely, Wendy. You can try the gluten-free pizza pockets. That's fantastic. All right. So the Rice Crisp bars. That's great, Alice. Thank you. So thank you all for coming along. I'm actually away for a few weeks, so we haven't got anything else planned until either be late September or beginning of October. But if you're in my group, you know, there'll be things posted up there anyway, and I'm trusting these girls will put some stuff in there as well when they're making things. Feel free to ask questions. And has anyone got any questions now? No, very quiet tonight.
Come off mute, everyone.
Yeah, you're welcome to come off mute. Anyway, I'd like to thank the team for always being there and being happy to, thanks Alana, being happy to present, and thank you Boone for doing all your moving around of everybody, and Helen for your comments in the chat, and for all of you who took part. So thank you, we love doing these. And is there anything that you guys particularly want to see, so we can have a theme for the next, whoops, just lost an ear. Anything people want to see particularly? If not, we'll just come up with something. All right, thank you, ladies. I'm going to stop recording now. Okay.